Hey everybody, today I want to talk to you about an amazing opportunity. It's something I alluded to in a previous video by way of kind of introduction, but I want to talk to you today about how to sell subscriptions to large merchant accounts. How to sell subscriptions to large merchant accounts. And so this is an opportunity that I really think many of you watching this video need to take advantage of. And it's something I'm really passionate about right now because as I see the industry starting to shift towards cash discounting and flat rate pricing and kind of this simplicity model that really bodes well for green agents and people who are new to the industry where they can just kind of go out there and prospect these small mom and pop shops and auto repair and hair salons and pizza shops, and they can sell them pretty easily with these programs. I really feel like those of you who have 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years experience in payment processing, and you understand interchange, how interchange works. You understand how to read a processing statement. You know what a gateway is. You understand all these things. And I feel like many of you are getting lost a little bit in terms of how do I take this knowledge and convert it into value? Because, out in the field, I'm selling and of course, you're maybe very good at sales and maybe you're selling cash discounting and making a fortune, and that's great. Good for you. But there's also other opportunities where you can leverage the fact that you are a payment processing professional, an expert, to make a lot of money. And so today I want to give you one of those models so that you can really understand it better. So one of the things that you can do is you can go after large merchant accounts. And when I talk about large merchant accounts here, we're talking about, generally speaking, over 200,000 a month in processing volume. Many times, you're going into that 2, 3, 4, 5 million a month area. Okay. So we're talking about 200,000 to 5 million a month in volume. Now, these are merchants who, as I talked about just, I think it was last week, are not really gravitating to cash discounting yet, even to surcharging yet. That's not really been a big part of what they're looking for. So for them, it's still more of this kind of traditional thing. They're doing payment processing. They're working with one of the big companies. Maybe it's First Data or TSYS or Elavon, Fiserv, whatever it is. And for them, it's still about cost savings, right? So they want to save money. The difference, of course, for them is oftentimes they're paying literally $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month in markup, not just fees, markup, okay? So because they're processing so much volume, there's a lot of room to work there in a lot of these accounts. So even though their pricing might already be a little bit low, maybe it's 15 basis points and 5 cents, that 15 basis points and 5 cents on $4 million a month is a lot. And so there's this opportunity there. Now, the challenge, as I talked about in a previous video just maybe a month or two ago, is that these are businesses that don't want to necessarily switch processing providers, at least initially, okay? So the goal eventually would be to switch them over to you, but a lot of times what will happen is you'll do a savings analysis, you'll come back and you're like, look, I can save you $7,000 a month. And you're thinking to yourself, this is going to be a home run. They're going to want to sign on the spot. Instead, you end up with this runaround and you're like, what is going on? I'm going to save them $7,000 a month. Well, the problem is they maybe have a POS system that they spent $500,000 on, and your savings mean you have to switch processors and you don't integrate with that system. Well, all of a sudden, $7,000 a month in savings versus a $500,000 new POS system doesn't sound so great. Maybe they have an ERP system, maybe they have some advanced accounting system and everything's tied together. Maybe just, the sheer, operational concern of switching processors. Maybe they don't trust you. Maybe they don't know enough about you. This is a decision where they're getting, $2 million a month in revenue and you're saying, I'll take care of that for you. It's like, well, that's $2 million a month. They don't know you that well. So how can you get your foot in the door with these accounts? Well, again, I talked in a previous video about a model where you can offer them to get a percentage of the savings. Today, I want to talk to you about a different way to approach these accounts that's very effective. You can also approach these accounts with a subscription model. So the idea here would be that you come in and you tell them, look, I know what I could save you if you switch to me for processing. However, I get that that's not, a realistic possibility, at least right now. Maybe down the road it makes sense, but right now we have all these integrations to deal with. So let's do this, okay? I'll make you an offer. I could save you $7,000 a month, but here's what I'll do. I will guarantee you that I will get you at least $4,000 a month in savings from your current processor And I will look at your statement and do a full statement analysis and send you a report every single month on exactly how much you have saved by switching, not switching, but by working with me to lower the rates, if you will pay me a subscription of $300 a month. So for $300 a month, that means you get a lot of my time up front. So I'm going to have you sign a 12-month agreement, because up front, I'm going to spend a lot of time renegotiating with your current provider so you don't have to switch. And then I'm going to look at your statement every month and give you like a savings proposal. And for that, you're going to pay me $300 a month. So now you've got this account where you're getting $300 a month. You're keeping 100% of it because it's actually your money. You're not splitting it with a processor. You're just getting $300 a month. And again, that number could be 500. That number could be 1,000. It just depends on the size of the account and how much savings you're willing to guarantee. Okay. So then what you do is, once they sign this agreement with you, they have to sign a contract for services, and they agree to hire you in this kind of limited capacity to reach out on their behalf to their processing company. You reach out. It's very easy to renegotiate these rates as a general rule. Most processors will bend over backwards to keep an account like this. And so when you reach out and say, look, this company hired me to shop around and find the best rates, but it would make my job a lot easier if you would just lower your rates down to X, and then I promise I won't even look for anybody else. We'll just work with you for another year, So what you want to do is reach out, renegotiate. It's usually pretty simple. Then every month, what you do is you use a solution like ours. We have getisoamp.com. And if you use ISOAMP, what you can do is you can take their statement the month before you started working with them, use that as the competitor statement. Then you take the statement now that you've been working with them as your kind of proposal. And every month you just send them a statement, a proposal that says, here's where you were at, and then here's where you're at now. With me, and I saved you $5,000 a month. And so it's like every month they're like, okay, I paid this person $300, and in exchange I got $5,000 in savings, or $3,000 or $4,000, whatever it is. So by doing it this way, you can have a really long-term relationship, and they never have to worry about processing. You're going to catch any price increases that happen. You're going to catch anything crazy going on. You're going to be like their payment expert to make sure that you keep the processing costs down. They love that. And here's the great thing about it. Down the road, you can always implement things like interchange optimization by switching them back to you. So after 12 months, you now know their system inside and out. And a lot of times you're like, hey, look, we've worked together for 12 months. You know what I can do, and you know the kind of savings I can provide. Here's the thing, though. We're still missing out on about $3,000 or $4,000 a month in savings because I can't implement interchange optimization with your current provider. I'm not going to do that. It's too complicated. But if you switch over to me, I can. And here's the great news. I figured out a solution that's going to work with your current POS system. It's going to cost you $10,000 to integrate, and then we're good to go. And you don't have to, you can save this extra $4,000 a month or whatever it is. So usually that 12 months or 6 months, whatever it is, that gives you enough time to sometimes evaluate a way for them to switch over. And if not, the great news is they'll keep paying you $300 a month, $500 a month forever. I mean, they're never going to switch from that provider anyway without you. You're their payment expert. You've got the account locked in, and you're getting 100% of the revenue that you're bringing in from that account with very little minimal work after the initial time. It's like every month you're just checking through the statement and analyzing it for anything new. So there's a different model for you. Many of you that are absolute experts in payment processing, think through this. It's not that hard to buy a list of big accounts in your area, large businesses that do over, $200,000 a month. You could say businesses that do over $500,000 in revenue a month. And go after those businesses, and you'll be surprised at how receptive they might be to a true payment processing expert.